financial benefits, and then they use those perks you just mentioned to get you in. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But somebody's making money.
I believe that it'll be mandatory, but for practical reasons, like this thing where the police want you and they have to chase you and you may get away. Those days are done.
Yeah, they're just going to shut your car off. Yeah.
Your car is going to do what they tell it to do,
Yeah.
which is get behind this patrol car and follow us to the station.
There's
Lock the
speculation
doors,
that they've had that for a long time, you know. There was that famous journalist, Michael Hastings, that was his name? There's this journalist. I don't know if you know this story, but it's pretty crazy. This guy went to Afghanistan. So Afghanistan with the troops. And he was only supposed to be there writing a Rolling Stone article about this general for a very short amount of time. But then there was the volcano in Iceland. And the volcano in Iceland stopped air travel. So this journalist from the Rolling Stone was embedded in this troop. And they started talking shit. And he started reporting the shit that they were talking, including disparaging comments that the general had said about Obama. So the general gets back. He has to retire. He has to, it's the Rolling Stone exposed. It's a big deal because everybody loves this general. So he retires, and this Michael Hastings guy is on the run, and he's terrified. He's telling people, if I commit suicide, I did not kill myself. People are threatening my life. And then he's going down La Brea, and his car is going like 120 miles an hour and just slams into a tree and explodes. And there's a video footage of it. This dude is just flying. Look at that, flying down the street. Hits a tree and the car explodes. And they asked security experts at that time, I think this was like 2005, 2005, is it possible to control a vehicle remotely? They said, does your vehicle have a computer? If your vehicle has a computer, they can control it. Period. There's a way.
And they know that.
And they've been doing that for, this is
2010.
2010. So this is 14 fucking years ago.
Easy peasy.
If they could do that then, what can they do now? They just shut your fucking car right off.
That's when this article came out. I'm sorry. So I think the accident was 2013.
Oh.
There you go.
Well, how was the article in 2010 if the accident's in 2013?
Well, the article came out first and exposed McChrystal.
Oh, the Rolling Stone article.
yeah,
I thought you meant
yeah.
the article
No,
on the accident.
If you actually do reading about Tesla, see, that's the thing, Joe. That's why I love history so much, because once you find out that this world is a circle, you can never get lost. Like,
Right.
you can look at certain things and it'll
Patterns.
tell you what's going to happen later, like, with amazing accuracy. Like, yeah, like, that's how I knew that things like what you showed me with Hastings, that those were real things.
Yeah.
It's not.
They've always been real.
Everybody who has ever been killed in one of those ways, there was a financial benefit to it. It was obvious. It was easy. You know where it came from. It's just that they do a good job. But how is that difficult if that's your job? Like, they do this. They do this really well. They do it worldwide.
Also, this guy fucked with the worst person you could fuck with. A high-ranking, beloved general who's in charge of trained killers who love him. And you don't think he could put one of those dudes on you with a coffee meeting? Just have a sit down at Starbucks with no phones on you? And let me explain what's going on?
A shadow government is no more difficult than a government.
Yeah. And so, not only that, they don't have to get elected. It's even better. Even nicer. They can stay for a long time. Think about J. Edgar Hoover. How long did that motherfucker stay in power for? He was running the FBI wearing a dress for like 30 years.
Because of what you just discussed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there are that's why I can speak with impunity about the Illuminati, because I know who you would have to be in order for what I'm saying to bother you, number one.
Right.
Number two, I know your big secret. I know that you're not the Illuminati. I am. So you can't be illuminated. You're too dark. But the difficulty is getting people to believe something that they don't want to believe. And in each of these cases, this is where the money is. If you're just a capitalist, it is find something, establish a value for it, and make sure that that includes your profit, and make sure people really want it.
Right.
It's very fundamental.
Also, if you're running corporations and you're
Yeah.
making billions of dollars,
Yeah.
you're going to get bored. What's the ultimate game? The ultimate game is to run the whole world. You know what the ultimate game is, Kat?
I do.
We have an overpopulation problem, Kat.
Yeah.
It's an overpopulation problem.
Right.
And we're gonna be able to mitigate that with vaccines. We're gonna be able to mitigate that with health care.
Right.
We're gonna figure that out. We're gonna get rid of a bunch of people.
We used to
This
be
is
able to do it with neglect, and it was called nature's way.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like whatever was ailing you, it wasn't ailing everybody in the world. The Chinese didn't have it because they had 6,000 herbs 6,000 years ago and knew what each one did. And, you know, like,
You know, people are very resistant to that when they don't realize that almost all pharmaceutical drugs come from plants.
you can't be against the original.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like-
That's government propaganda working on you. That's like remember when they had Marinol, when they were making weed illegal, and the people were going through cancer, and their doctors had prescribed them weed for chemotherapy, so they gave them Marinol. Do you remember that shit?
I do.
It's like a synthetic version of weed that's terrible.
But terrible is subjective,
Right.
to nothing. So they have this oil-like cannabis that is for people having seizures.
Right.
And it's the only thing that will stop a seizure.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is. But here's the thing. The fact that there is a God is the biggest conversation worldwide. But the truth of the matter is, there is more reason for you to believe there is a God than there is for you to not. Like the way that things interact. Like if we're just talking about marijuana or alcohol or whatever that is, you have to understand that this thing serves no other purpose than to bring pleasure to this small group of beings.
Right.
And the fact that it already was set up to do that, the fact that it was already set up on this planet for there to be medicines for us to find and to utilize. And you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's not like, oh, yeah, so he made a cow. No, to make a cow, it means you had to also have made grass. And it means you would have had to have invented a whole new eating system for this animal, which was cud. And that means you would then have to have given him 3 stomachs to be able to, and you would have to have known that he was going to then emit a gas that was going to be necessary on the planet. Like, like none of these things,
Fertilizer,
are,
all of it.
are right. The fact that
Seeds.
everything goes together is how you know.
It's pretty wild. And every time we step in and fuck with it, it goes haywire.
Right.
Every time human beings do it.
Predictably haywire. though.
Haywire.
Right.
Haywire.
Right, but that's part of the benefits of free will. Is you really can jump into a volcano, dude.
Yeah. Haywire.
You really can.
I mean, think about what we've done to wildlife. The craziest thing in this country, especially right here, is pigs. Bro, wild pigs are everywhere, and there's so many of them. I went to a friend of mine's farm, it's like a ranch, to hunt wild pigs, and you just hear them like Lord of the Rings characters in the bushes. And there's 150 of them near you, 250 of them, thousands on the ranch. They're all over the place, and they have 3 litters a year. And they start having litters when they're 6 months old. They just pump out piglets. Let's go.
You can tell they're not delicious.
They are delicious.
Oh, well, then here we go then. We don't
they're
really
delicious.
we don't really have a problem then, do we?
No, we have a we need to eat pigs problem.
No, we need to be sending this off somewhere
Yeah.
to someone who does.
Well, definitely we should. That would be an easy way to solve a lot of hunger problems.
I'm saying we live in a country where
Yeah.
we're complaining about food sources.
It's a good point.
These chickens are pecking us to death. They're everywhere. I can't eat and sleep. Yeah, but they're delicious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Have more chickens. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we do have an overabundance problem for sure. We really do. But the pig thing is a wild one. It's hard to get them. Like they're very smart and they spread out and there's so fucking many of them. They shoot them with helicopters. They
Oh, yeah,
fly
I've
over
seen
them.
it.
Whew.
Right.
I
Right.
haven't been
It's-
invited 3 times since I moved here to go shoot pigs out of a helicopter.
But that's part of the reason that you came to Texas.
The freedom, for
Texas,
sure.
Texas is a place of great adventure
Yeah.
and people who believe in that.
Yeah.
Right. It's really God's country in the right places.
It is in the right places. I think you're going to have annoying people everywhere you go in this world. But in general, I think the people here overall are nicer, they're friendlier, and they're not captured. They're not captured by the ether of Hollywood. They haven't been sucked into the vortex of ideological thinking and just that weirdness of that town. So when you escape that and just be around regular people, you're like, oh, people are all right. I've just been in an insane asylum. You're looking for a girlfriend. Like you have to
Right.
be in a place where you're around good people, like normal people. That's better for you.
You're not trying to say that people that happen to live there are not nice people.
There's
That's
a
not,
lot of nice people there, for sure.
Here's the thing. Hopefully we can agree that the problem is with extremes.
Yes.
Extreme anything.
Yes.
Extreme left is as vicious and as far right.
Yep.
It's, the middleness of it all that makes America great. And
For sure.
Texas has been front and center of that forever.
I think a big part of it, though, is how much does your government control you? Even when things don't even make sense. Like in California, they made flavored vapes illegal. Can you imagine? You're
Yeah.
like, strawberry mist is our number one
That was
problem.
fine, but they let it also hurt black people in that it counted menthol as a flavor and hurt Newports.
So you can't sell menthol cigarettes in California.
Right. They have
That
their own cigarettes.
is
They have
wild.
non-menthol Newports. It's terrible.
Why do black people like menthol so much? What's that about? It's a totally different type of cigarette.
You're going to get me canceled.
No.
This is very racist, this
Is it?
conversation, even though neither of us are. Go figure.
Just talking about a type of cigarette that people enjoy?
Just saying, why do black people like Newport so much? And a black
Menthol cigarettes.
person actually getting ready to answer this. It's terrible on all ends.
I don't think it is.
Well, I don't think it is either because we have a new.
It's like if you started
cigarette.
asking me about spaghetti, I'm not going to get offended. If you started asking me about Italian food or why are Italian people so loud, I'm not going to get offended.
How many people have ever died of pasta-related illnesses?
A lot.
Joe.
A lot of fatzos out there kicking the bucket, bro.
That's not because of
That's an
pasta.
overabundance of carbohydrates.
They were
sir.
going to be fat wherever they lived, sir.
Maybe. That's an overindulgence.
Going to be great
in
bread eaters in
delicious
Uzbekistan.
high carbohydrate food. They couldn't stop it. People are addicted to food like they're addicted to anything. And if there's a thing that I could ever be addicted to, it's that.
Right. That's all of us, though.
All of us.
And what a blessing.
Yeah. We have so much.
Starving people are addicted
Exactly.
to anything, and they don't have food-related illnesses.
Exactly.
But back to where we were.
Yeah.
You were
The
asking
left
me about
versus the right. I
about
just-
the menthol cigarettes.
Oh, that's right.
And the answer is, we value strength in product. So there's this whole thing with liquor and malt liquor and the difference between the two, and one is richer and stronger. And,
the more potent version.
Right. And as,
Okay, that makes
as a
sense.
people, we tend to go with those products.
Things that are stronger. That makes sense.
Right. Like before things were called concentrate.
Yeah.
That's what we appreciated.
That makes sense.
Concentrate. And the fact that menthol is a natural thing. So,
Right.
anybody who is from the South knows about mint plants and,
And menthol
You
used
always-
as a skincare product, like
Yeah.
injuries and shit.
right, like you appreciate that as a flavor profile as well.
Right. That makes sense.
The mint julep.
It's just telling people they can't have that anymore. Who the fuck are you? That's my position.
Well, and that's a noble position, and we appreciate the fact that you represent that. But the truth of the matter is not pretty. And the truth of the matter is that most people would like to be controlled more by their government if they
To make
had.
it easier? Maybe.
Most people are all for government control as long as they don't have to discuss it.
Yeah, as long as it works in their favor, they'll give up a lot of rights. And then hopefully the next administration that's
Rights are
right-wing
generally
won't abuse
worthless
those
at the
rights.
time.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that if the government can make life easier, a lot of people have it hard, right? So if the government
Yeah.
comes in and says, I'm going to make it easier for you, but I'm going
Right.
to need certain requirements of you. I'm going to need you to have a digital ID. That digital ID will be attached to a social credit score. And we're going to give you universal basic income. You no longer have to worry about food or shelter. You'll be taken care of. And now you can pursue your dreams.
Is this the mark of the beast you're speaking of, sir?
I think it is.
Right.
Look,
That's the whole thing. Is it's never been difficult at any point in history. Like we got a dude right now that's telling you front and center that I put a computer in somebody's head, guys.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And everybody's going, yay.
it's the greatest thing in the world, sir.
Yeah.
But we understood this 15, 20, 25 years ago. We understood while watching Tron or while watching Cyborg, we understood that there was just this small line medically that needed to be crossed in order for us to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
Like if you can hook a battery up to an octopus and make it go like this, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
Why? Because this is a machine that we have.
It's a
here.
biological machine.
Right. And once
Yeah.
you understand it, you understand it.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
could fuck with that machine. You could juice it up. You could fucking get it stronger, get it smarter.
This
you can do
is-
a lot of things with that machine.
This is what the Anunnaki said. This is how you know that these are not made up things from people's imagination, because everything is too factual. Like this necklace, right?
Right.
People online were like, yeah, is that Buddhist or that's this or that? It's none of that. Like I just try to find the answers to things. So
Is that a ship wheel?
I designed this because this is that thing that you see that all the Anunnaki guys that have that look like a wristwatch, and they always have it, and you're always trying to see what that is.
what is that?
It is a time, and it's a compass. It's a timekeeping compass.
That's what that is?
Yeah. So that's what made the carrier of great importance, because he was able to do things that were magical in nature, like go somewhere and get right back. Like, you know what I mean?
So, yeah,
like
that thing on the wrist was a compass?
a timekeeping
Timekeeping compass.
Yeah. Right. So you had to believe in things that didn't exist at some point, like magnetics and distance and
Right.
probabilities and
Right.
right. That's how, like, if you were to read like thousands of books about people that knew a bunch of shit, like you start finding out that it's not really about knowing anything. It's about where to go to get the information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when we look at all the ruins all around the world, like we're not seeing ruins of colleges and universities and all of that. we're seeing temples and synagogues and churches, but people don't understand that that's where